Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. So, welcome back to Generational Farming. For those new to the series or those following along, glad to have you with me. Certainly always happy to have as many folks as possible get into this. For those new to the series, if you're unfamiliar, this is a series taking place on Farming Simulator Network servers, FSN, which is having us play through multiple generations, or basically spend time on multiple maps over a period of time with the goal of seeing who accumulates the most generational wealth. So I've been doing quite a bit of work today. I'm going ahead now and I've rented this spreader, as I do periodically, because it is time to lime my fields. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done, and I will give you an update of what has transpired since the last episode. Here, getting some lime. So I've still got a loan outstanding. I did go ahead and sell the silage that I had left, so it did help me decrease things a bit, but not in any significant manner. I've also gone ahead and taken some contracts that were out there, but they were fertilizing contracts, which means very little profit, and continuing to have to buy fertilizer and so forth. Other difference that I had run into was the fact that this field here, 36, the newest field I own, this was the first time I finally did have to go ahead and provide fertilization to the entire field. Prior to that, a large area of the field was still over-fertilized for grass, and I was able to just continue on, and so I did not have to put down fertilizer here, but I'm using about 2,000 or 3,000 liters of fertilizer on this field. So that's increasing my costs a bit, but certainly, again, the offset is more than enough, as I've indicated before, because of the improvement in the yield. We'll go ahead and apply the lime to the field. And so I'm going to have a good amount here. I may have to take out a further loan to cover the lime that I'm going to need, but we'll see how this goes. I'm going to start with this large field and go ahead and get that completed. I keep speculating about whether it's worth it to take the fertilizer contracts. It did help me get enough fertilizer to fertilize my fields without having to take out an additional loan. So I think it was helpful in that regard, but I probably, made 5,000 or 6,000, which then went right back into the field with the fertilization costs. With the amount I'm using, I'm certainly going to need more than just this load. The challenge is how much more, and more importantly, the challenge will become, can I get this done in an hour, or will I be paying for more time for rental? I think I can usually do all the fields in less than an hour, but I'll have to take a look at that. For those who may be coming to the channel looking for the other FSN series that I have off of my main farm, the Misty Hills Agriculture series that is coming up on 200 episodes, that series is currently on hold because I'm waiting for a field to come up so that I can do something other than grow grass and feed my BGA, because I need crops to be able to generate straw and so forth, so that I can start up my dairy operation that I had on Shellbrook now that we've moved to Hobo's Hollow. So that series will be returning once I have access to an additional field, but right now with the auctions coming up in FSN, any fields that I'm interested in have not appeared yet. In the interim, you can go ahead and look at a couple other series that are available on the channel, and those are based on the VIP Order Manager add-on that I'm using. One is on Riverview Farms, and that one is usually posting new episodes either Friday or Saturday, because the Farming Simulator episodes, when on a normal schedule, when the regular FSN series is running, appear every 2 days. But when it falls on a Friday or a Saturday, that episode is replaced by the VIP series episode. Those are still continuing on schedule. but there may be missing Farming Simulator episodes. I don't want to fill the schedule with something else, because at any day that other series will begin again, because once I have the field, I'll be actively working that farm as well. In addition, I have what I'm calling an experimental series, because I did some modifications on the VIP Order Manager to allow it to operate in a way that works well with large maps. That series posts sporadically because it's dependent on when I have time to get the work done. With how much I'm having to do here on generational farming, that's not been that often, but that's the Mega VIP series, which again is available on a playlist, so you can take a look at that and see what I'm doing in Green River Valley in Nebraska in that series. Well, I think it's pretty clear. I'm going to need at least, well, I'm going to need well over one additional load here of this, and I think I vaguely recall when I limed these fields before that I did end up using the spreader for more than an hour. I've gone ahead and run out even before I finish that row. I'm about halfway done with this field, but it's going to take quite a bit of lime. So I'm going to see, I think I may actually run out of funds here to fill this trailer, so I'll deal with that when that happens. So there we go. Slightly short. So I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to borrow 10,000 more. And as you can see, it's another $38 that it took to finish filling up this wagon. But then I'm thinking I'm going to need another load and then some, because I believe on the first fields I used a little bit more. I think it was like another 10,000. I think it was the 14,000 plus another 10. So I think I was using like 24,000 liters over on the 3 original fields that I owned here. So I'm still trying to really learn what exactly my consumption is. The challenge is, since I leased the spreader, which is, I believe, still the best way to do this, because the cost of the spreader is far too high compared to leasing. I'm only spending $2,700, and I think even if I spend the extra hour, I'm only spending $3,000 every time, and I need it a little over more than once a year. But as I've expressed in earlier episodes, unless I use it 20 times, or really like 18, 19 times, it's less expensive to lease the piece of equipment than it is to go ahead and own it. So that is why I'm doing what I'm doing. At this point, we do have an end date on when this generation is ending, when we're moving to our next map, Westby, Wisconsin. And that's going to be in a little over 3 game years. So if I understand what we were told correctly, Winter 1 of year 110 in FSN, which would turn out to be year 8 here on this generation of farming, is when we'll be moving, which should coincide with March 10th, 2023, that we'll be making that move, or starting to move from this server. So I've got to operate till then, so about 6 to 7 weeks. Right now, certainly owning a spreader, not making a lot of sense, because per the new rule changes, we're allowed to move 3 pieces of equipment, but the spreader isn't one that I would choose in the equipment pile that I have, because there are others that make more sense to own and would be things that I would move. So that gets you up to speed at this point of really what is happening and where things are at. Looks like we get a little bit less of lime requirement down at the bottom there, so that will conserve a little bit, but I'm not sure that that will continue. But I'm going to go ahead and get this field limed, and obviously my goal this year will be to once again get myself debt-free after going into debt to expand the farm. But the farm will be fully paid for and profitable again sometime this year. But we'll continue providing those updates as I go along and as I work this in real time. And I will see you next time.